Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Look at this. I don't know if you recognize this thumbnail, but you know who this is? Hey, Paula.
The peekaboo.
How are you?
I'm good. I know there's no names under our little thingies. How come?
There are no names in there. Well, let's see if I can change that.
Good morning,
Rectify
everybody.
that.
Wrecked it, you. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Merry late Christmas. I hope
Happy day
everybody
after,
had
yes.
a fantastic 2 days after.
Check it out. There you go.
There we are. There. Now they know. Not like they wouldn't be able to tell from my Monsters Inc. whatever that lady's name was, voice.
Roz.
Yeah, Ross.
I'm
Good morning,
watching
everyone.
you.
Get to work, Sully.
Always watching. Yep.
Always watching.
You actually do that very well.
I told you, it's my normal voice.
Well, hey, folks, today I am going to continue what we've done the last couple of weeks. We're going to take the first little bit and we're going to do a story. Today is going to be Denver. Well, you think about Denver, you think about Rocky Mountain High, you think Rocky Mountain High, you think John Denver, Mr. Colorado himself. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the story. And again, I am not a voice actor. I can't come across as sounding like John Denver. I'm not going to use AI to imitate his voice. Just imagine that you're sitting on an airplane and a man sits next to you and says, "How you doing?" And it's John Denver, and he's going to tell you about the time that he visited the Mint. So I'm going to go ahead and begin the story. And when we're done, then Paula, we can talk about some fun facts and some things from the Denver Mint.
Big Katie.
All right. So again, imagine yourself sitting on an airplane and a man sits next to you and he says, "Hey there, good to be with you. You know, I've always felt that Colorado isn't just a place you live. It isn't just the aspen tree in September. It isn't just the pillars of gold as the autumn foliage changes. It's not about the silence of the falling snow on a cold Colorado night. He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he had never been before." You know, I think a lot about those lines about coming home, and it's a part of making a place. See, your home is about your story. The big ones written in the mountains and the small ones passed from hand to hand. I want to tell you a story today about a different kind of gold. Not the leaves turning, but the metal that built the city. The silver and the gold streams from the Denver Mint. See, I had a chance to walk through the heavy doors of the Denver Mint years ago. And you might think that it's just a factory, a place of cold machinery and noise. But as I walked in there, friends, it felt like I was walking into the heartbeat of a nation. Each were millions of coins being passed through the presses. There at that building on West and Colfax, massive granite, grand. Inside, the blood veins go deep more than the architecture. It goes back to the Pikes Peak gold rush in the 1860s when Clark, Gruber, and Company started a minting where they took gold dust. You can't really buy bread with a bunch of dust, so you had to turn it into something real. Well, the Mint recognized this and picked that up and took it over. And they turned dust into the earth you could trust. Money. It's really just a promise. And it's a promise that Denver has been delivering for a number of years. You've probably heard poems, prayers, and promises, those things that we believe in. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what happened after the United States Mint bought out Clark, Gruber and Company. See, they weren't just buying a building, they were actually buying the future of the West. So as I was walking through facility, thinking of what's happening, that sound hits you. That train, steady driven down the tracks. Now you think of this, it's a massive process. There are dozens working in concert. And you know me as a musician, concert's what I do. And I hear back those early days talking to the members when they said the presses were slower, they were more deliberate. But today, bam, 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 process is striking hundreds of thousands coins a minute, several 100,000 per hour, and millions in a day. 750 tons of pressure over and over and over to turn a blank piece of metal into history. It's an amazing process. These giant coils of metal, copper nickel sandwiches, they use them for the quarters. They're feeding them into the blanking presses. And all these discs were getting cut out of there like a cookie cutter. And they anneal them and heat them and they soften them and they wash them and they tumble them. And then they shine. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Remember that one? Yeah, that one was fun. Seeing those planchets shine, waiting for their identity. It really did want to make you smile. And the real magic here is that watching the river of quarters flow by was mesmerizing. A silver stream like running through the Rockies. And one of the employees, he had grease on his hands and he waves me over. He's got a little pride, a glint in his eye as he says, "Hey, let me show you something." We walked into this little booth and he knew I love the image of things. And as I got closer, he held out a coin. I remember this coin, 1976, had the D on the front. It was the little drummer boy, the bicentennial. I told him, I recognize that. He said, let me show you something. He said, have you ever looked at this very carefully? I'm like, well, it's a quarter. He goes, no. Have you ever looked at a coin closely? Really actually looked at it. And he handed me a loop, on it a little light. He turned it on and he said, look at the word liberty. What do you see? And as I peered through the glass, it was subtle at first, like spotting an eagle against the clouds. Once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. And he said, that's DDO number 1. It's a double die of verse. See the little fangs in the S and the little serifs in trust? Do you see the splits? I was like, yeah, I can see that. He's like, people think that happens when the coin is struck, but actually it happens way, way before. Actually happens to this, as he hands me a die. And he said, this is what makes the coin. He says, but it happens when this piece is made, long before it ever touches a planchet, long before it ever gets into the machine. The die was doubled. See, these two distinct images that you're seeing, slightly offset, happened because when they were running these things through the hubbing process, there was a shifting, a movement. Maybe it was the second, maybe it was the third, maybe it was the fourth press after being annealing. We don't know. All we know is that there was a shifting and there was a doubling on this die. And as that die struck that planchet, it transferred onto the coin. It wasn't double struck, it's a misnomer. He had me trace the outside, the shape of the eye, and look at the extra serif, the overall size of the device. He says, what do you see? I'm like, well, it looks thicker. colder, like it's added metal, it's added substance. And he said, that's a true error. And he walked around the corner to this big bin out of that silver machine that was flowing down out of these presses. And he grabbed a coin and he threw it back in, and he grabbed a coin and he threw it back in, and he grabbed a coin and he threw it back in. And he grabbed one. He says, aha, here we go. And he walked over to me and he handed it to me and he goes, now look at this one. And he says, so what you just learned about the die and the hub, tell me about this coin. And when I looked at it, it kind of looked doubled, but there was something wrong. See, it wasn't additive. It wasn't something new. There was a deviation, but it looked like it had been scraped off. A shelf-like appearance appeared on the things. There was doubling, but it wasn't really doubling. It was almost damaged. It just didn't look right. It was kind of the same, but he had already explained to me how that happened. There's no way this could have happened from that process. I didn't know what I was seeing. And he said, well, what's your idea? He says, it looks like an ejection style kind of something went wrong with the machine. Maybe it was loose, but it just doesn't look right. It looks like it hit something and it scraped off that item. And he said, that's comes from ejection, or that comes from a loose machine. And he says, you're absolutely right. We call that mechanical or ejection doubling. It's not actually doubling. It's actually damage to the surface of the coin. And I began to understand what was happening at that time. And I understood that just because it was a coin didn't mean you couldn't understand what was going on by looking at it. And it began to help me understand the process, the importance of what they were doing there. But more than just seeing that this was change in my pocket or that it was just some piece of metal at a different size than other ones, that I could take a few moments and look at this and understand that there was an entire device that had been indented. Was it a unique creation? Was it a variation of the soul of the die? No, it was damage. And when I went back and looked at that bicentennial quarter, I realized I was seeing the diamond when this was just a stone. And if you're hearing some days are diamonds, some days are stone, yes, that song reminded me of what I was seeing at that moment. Shortly thereafter that, I started to finish the tour. And as I walked away from the noise and headed out back towards the lobby, I felt this heavy sense of awe. See, they told me that the Denver Mint produces billions of coins a year. Billions, that's with a B. Imagine that. Each one traveling out from Colorado through pockets, vending machines, guitar cases, tip jars, all over the world. I stood there quiet in the hallway, thinking about my own work, the songs that I write. I sing songs like the images you see here, the eagles, the mountains. I have a love for the country and for its people. I know the effect my music has on so many. It travels the airway, invisibly touching hearts. And the song that I was singing is a prayer to the non-believers. But this, folks, was different. This was a physical thing. We don't take time to recognize it. We don't take time to look at it, do we? We toss the quarters into a massive system of industry, but there's no room for the unique. Well, there actually is. But by understanding what they were doing, by understanding what they called the minting process, I learned that there is room for the unexpected. See, I am proud to be here and proud to know that it's a pulse of the nation's commerce. It beats right here in the shadow of the Rockies. And just like these mountains, the mint is a grand thing. That river, silver, flowing, shining out to the oceans of people. So the next time you have a quarter in your pocket, take a second, look at it, really look at it. It might just change the way you look at things. It might be just changed to, but just to remember, the folks in that building and its history is another promise kept. Thanks for listening. What'd you think?
That was cool.
I enjoyed that. I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoy these. I enjoy writing these. It does take time, but I enjoy it. It's something that's fun. And when I was talking to Jack Young at the end of Sunday last week, and he was like, well, because we didn't talk about what we were going to do. And he's like, well, let's do Denver. And I was like, I think I already have an idea for a story. I think I want to do it in the voice or the reach of John Denver. And so it's fun.
Yeah.
But I do. I really hope you guys enjoy that.
Well, I enjoyed.
Azure says you need to get a sponsor for each story. That's actually not a bad idea. What's up, Jack? So let's do this. I have ran through this. Let's go say hi to some folks. Obviously, Paul is here. Hi.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning,
we got
Jack.
David Carlisle, James Schultz, Azure. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Siren, moderator extraordinaire. Thank you so much for being here and saying how do you do. We got AZ Coins. Aloha to my friends in Hawaii. I hope you were doing well. Mahalo for being here. Jackalope, Herdmaster, Jack Riley, See Happy Chappy. Hope you guys are all doing well. I said AZ. Walter Boudreau, what's up going on? How are you doing? Good to see you. Freaking awesome. Really appreciate you. You guys, I don't know if you know this, but I was looking, there's a new analytics thing on your channels that you can look at, and it tells you who your most frequent commenters are, who your most frequent sharers are. Freaking awesome has dwarfed everybody in sharing and doing links and doing stuff like that. I really appreciate you, brother.
Sure.
It was amazing. He was like 3 times everybody else. It was insane. Always sharing, always putting stuff in, always commenting on videos.
Sharing.
Always sharing.
Always sharing. Morning, Kevin.
What's going on, Kevin? How you doing?
I think it's Walter Thibodeau.
Walter Thibodeau?
I think so.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
But
anyway,
his friends call him Boudreau.
Boudreau, yeah. Well, I'm looking at a small screen. I
could be butchering that. I could be.
I think he probably did a much better job than I did. Matt T. Sterner, how are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to kind of continue on this story thing. Again, I followed this up. We've done Dahlonega, Charlotte. We've done Carson City. We've done New Orleans. We've done West Point. Today is Denver. We've got Philadelphia and San Francisco. We're going to do San Francisco next. But we always follow this up with fun facts. So I've got a bunch of fun facts about the Denver Mint. Paula, you probably know a ton of stuff about this too.
I don't know.
But I'm going to go over a couple of the stories that we've talked about. You guys have heard some of these before. Remember the man with the golden leg?
I do remember that.
Okay, 1920, one of the most brazen international thefts in mint history, committed at Denver. Denver's had a ton of problems, by the way, over the years, not just with quality, but with people being crooked and nefarious. Sold almost $100,000 in gold. Now, I want you to think about this. 1920, $100,000 in gold. That's a lot of money now. By casting a little groove into his hollow wooden leg, and then he would drop gold into it and, kind of walk out of the mint. Sometimes he would put so much in there that it caused his gait to be different. People started to know this. So they started to watch him and monitor him, and then he would go to the same place in the garden every night and be digging. But he only dug up in one place in his garden. He didn't go anywhere else. So the authorities kind of snuck up behind him after he was done and said, "Hey, how you doing, bud? Can we call you back in, and Mr. Orville Harrington was pulled back to the mint where he confessed to the crime and did his time. So, fun story. There was another one happened a couple years later.
We officially have a new U.S. Mint director.
We do.
Yes, we do. Paul Hollis.
Which we knew he was probably the key running a while ago.
He has been sworn in. He is official.
It is done. Sue B, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Ant? Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you all being here. I need you guys to do me a favor. Put a 1 in chat if you enjoy the stories. If you guys like, because I'll tell you, if you enjoy this, and I've heard you guys tell me that you like this. We're going to continue this at least 2 more weeks. But it seems like you guys like this format. If you do, I don't mind writing the story, doing something creative, and we can do, the 1922 Great Mint robbery. Hint, hint, wink, wink. December 18th, 1922, the gangsters held up the Federal Reserve right outside the Mint's front door, opened fired shotguns. Charles Linton was killed, the only Mint person there. And it actually leads to something that Coins and Ghouls would find really interested. Did you know that people say that the Mint is haunted?
Yes.
Did you know that? You know why?
I don't know why.
Because of that guy. He got shot. And so they say you can hear him when the machines are off. They've actually recorded footprints.
Is haunted too.
Say again?
They say the Carson City Mint is haunted too.
I wouldn't doubt that either. So a lot of lore, a lot of stuff that happens there. A lot of cool stuff. So I'm seeing ones. That's always a good thing.
Good morning, Sue. It went very well. It went as well as can be expected. And now I'm just learning to use my left hand. That's not going so well. I spill a lot, but that's okay. I am healing.
That's good.
Thank you.
It's good to have you in the chat. That's our back on panel. I know that you've been preparing for all these procedures and everything that was going on, moving family, getting stuff back. So it's nice to have you back up here.
Yeah, I know. Sue's going through the same thing. So yeah, it's physical therapy is a pain, but I'll be worth it. So yeah, but I'm just glad to be talking to you guys and hanging out with you guys again.
Ringmaster Ray.
Had a great Christmas.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a good one for us. Nice and easy. Ringmaster Ray, one of the most haunted places in America. I used to work there. Maple Hospital, Fort Smith, Virginia. Building 1, 1812. Lots of history there.
Hey, Luther. Good morning.
What's up, Luther?
I've been hanging out on Facebook, of course, because, I just can't stay away. And Luther and Jack are in a chat of moderators and whatever that I'm in. And we get it for this one group, Coin Collecting for Amateurs. Listen, you guys, it's an okay group, but there's a bunch of knuckleheads in there. So we have fun. But I've been typing with one hand, so it's been fun trying to get my point across to these people. Anyway, enough about me.
How many nails have you broke?
None. Can you believe that? Well, because I'm so used to, you hear me when I type. I'm like,
yep.
Doot. But I do need to get my nails done one of these days. Atrocious. It's hard, huh, Sue? Especially when I've given up on trying to capitalize things that are on a certain, in the middle of my keyboard. because my fingers don't reach the shift and the letters in the middle together. So I can't use talk. Everybody keeps telling me talk to text. I've never used it before, and I don't
I
want
need
to start.
I need to teach you how to do that. It's way easier.
I have no clue. By
Yep.
the time I learn it, really, in all reality, I'll be back to normal again.
Oh, you'll learn
So,
talk to text in 2 minutes.
okay.
It only takes a second. It's really, really.
Can you imagine the things that I could say to people though if I didn't have to take my time typing? Like if I just, oh,
In other
anyway.
words, let's not teach Paula talk
I
to
might
text.
get in trouble. It's true, Luther. That is true. I'd be like, I didn't say that. Yeah, AI is a pain. AI is our nemesis. It is not coin friendly. Please, you guys, if you don't listen to anything else that I say to you, please heed my warning on this. AI is terrible for coin information. Every once in a while, it gets it kind of right, but there's always something in there that is not correct. So if when you Google something, if the very first thing that pops up is from AI, just continue scrolling past that. The problem with AI is that it learns from other people, right? It learns from what is put into it. And the stuff that gets put into it is all this crap from clickbait and our friend Eric Miller and all these knuckleheads. It doesn't learn from the right people. That is true, Ray. I'm never going to be normal, and I'm okay with that. What's normal is no fun.
As you said, people used to be afraid of the internet, not anymore. Now the people who used to love the internet are afraid of it.
Yeah. It just makes things so difficult for us because I get corrected by new people in the hobby who want to post what the AI bot told them. And it's just complete nonsense.
In a lot of cases, absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. And then I have to try to convince them that I know more than AI knows. And they're like, well, who the heck are you, lady? I don't know.
Well, I think that one of the issues is if you don't, so garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you don't know what to ask AI, you're probably not going to get a very good response. In order to get good, serious responses from AI, number one, you have to know what you're talking about in order to use it. Because a lot of times, yes, it's good with pulling information together quickly, but it's going to get details wrong. And details are where money's made in this hobby. The details matter in this hobby. If you're talking just general stories and there's a detail left out, it may not be important. However, when we're talking about coins, those details are critical. And so for it to miss those, it's just not very conducive. But if I was to go to AI and say, tell me about the 1909S, which coin is it going to talk to me about? Most likely the SVDB, but it could give me a whole bunch of information about the Indian headset as well.
Yeah.
And if I don't necessarily know that there's not a difference between that, how do I know whether the information is right or not? So you have to have a really good basis to understand how to properly ask AI for things. Again, garbage in, garbage out. If you're not asking for the right stuff, you may get decent information, but it may not be correct. So be aware of that. Let's get back
You
to
know,
Denver.
it reminds me a lot of internet doctors, or so I used to years ago, when I first started getting into the medical field, like what, and I was guilty of it too. People want to, be these internet physicians or whatever, and they're constantly like diagnosing people's ailments and stuff like that. And that's now, it's a little bit different, because what we do isn't going to kill somebody. It could cost somebody a lot of money, but it's not going to kill somebody. But the bad information is out there when it comes to that kind of stuff too. People are always like, oh, eat a leaf off an oak tree, and or whatever. I don't know, they're always trying to heal somebody or diagnose somebody's ailment. And they don't know the first thing about medicine, but they read it on Google.
Well, we always joke
And
about Facebook doctors, right?
yeah, the Facebook doctors, the internet doctors. Yeah, it's very much the
Ignore what
same
the
thing.
physician said and listen to what your Aunt Sally, who's had
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
3 hours of bandage preparation in her 95 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that people have bad memories. So what, and Luther and Jackal and anybody, Eric, anybody who's on Facebook in these coin groups a lot will can attest to this. They'll come into a group and they'll post something right away, and they'll say, I'm new to the hobby, blah, blah, blah. And a month later, all of a sudden, they're an expert, and they've been collecting 50 years. And they forget that we can go back and find that old post from a month ago that says they're brand new. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
No worries, Luther. No worries at all.
Missing tomorrow's show.
Hey, Paula, here's an interesting fact for you about Denver.
Deep in
Did
the
you
mountain.
know that during the height of the gangland era during World War II, security at Denver was so intense that they actually installed machine gun nests on the roof?
Really? Like those, what are they called? Trivets or whatever? Or what are those things called? I see them
Turrets?
in. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually installed machine gun nests on the roof and strategic points around the building to deter things like aerial or ground assault.
Really?
Very interesting. Didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
So tomorrow we're going to be talking about another Denver mint mark, something that has made all sorts of interesting stories. We're going to be talking about the 1964D Peace Dollar. Interesting one, because in 1965 the Denver Mint struck over 300,000 of them. Order was rescinded. All the coins were melted down. However, somebody created one. We're going to talk a little bit about those, talk about some of the counterfeits you see.
DC.
Huh?
DC.
DC. Indeed.
Yeah.
So, but
It was supposed to go along with the Kennedy.
the Tennedies,
The Kennedy. It was the peace dollar was supposed to go along with the Kennedy. 64D. But
yep. Unfortunately, they're not exist. I did a video on that as well, but we're going to be talking about that as well tomorrow.
the
One of the most famous coins came to us from there. The three-legged buffalo, 1937D, also came from there. In order to remove a die clash, they overpolished the die and removed the leg, and you can tell
Yeah.
because you see the buffalo peeing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It's funny because there are so many times when that has happened, before that and after. and nothing ever came of that, right? Of that dye. The problem with it was, so are you talking about the peeing thing, Kevin? Because that is actually not a die crack. But that I believe that they have concluded that that's rust.
On the die?
But anyway, yeah. Cleaning up the dyes has caused many many missing elements on coins. The thing that made it so popular, the reason it has such value, is that they caught it early on. So that's where rarity and scarcity come into play. You
Which we've
find,
been talking a lot about. Yeah.
yeah, you find, modern double dies that are the little minor class nines, and people like them and they collect them and they find them, but they are so common that oftentimes the mint knows about them and they just consider them normal. Too minor to worry about. The dyes cost too much to make, so they just continue. A dye can strike what, 1,000,000 cents, and they don't care. So be cautious when you're paying money for them or selling them. That you aren't like sticking it to the man. And can I just say that can I go on a little rant here? Because it wouldn't be Paula without a little rant.
I was just
And
about to say the same thing.
and I'm going to, and I love this person dearly. I really do. He's been a huge supporter of the LiveCoin Q&A. Has found many varieties that we've featured on our show and everything. And I am not going to name his name, but some of you will know. There are certain people who are counter stamping 2025 cents with an Omega counter stamp.
Yep.
And they are charging $10. And it is absolutely ridiculous, because I'm going to warn you right now that coin is compromised and it will not last. That thing will, unless you hermetically, is that what it's called?
Yep. Hermetically seal.
Seal that coin. That plating has been compromised, and any tiny bit, don't breathe around it, don't sneeze around it, don't cough around it, don't let any moisture get to it. That coin is going to be wrecked. Now, I understand it's only $10, but that's $10 that you could buy a Omega leather stamp yourself for $10 and stamp all of the 2025 cents your little heart desires. That's my rant. I think that
Well,
I
and at
really
this point, you had no control over what environment those coins were in prior to
Mm-mm.
you getting them.
Mm-mm.
So they could already have all of the necessary damage to start disintegrating. But they're terrible, and you
I
can
am
see.
all for capitalism. I really am. I mean, if whatever you found a way to make money, great. But my problem is not so much that this person is selling these as the fact that these are not going to last. They are not going to last the test of time. They just are not.
And we're talking specifically about the counter stamped ones,
Yes.
not the ones that were done by Stacks and Bowers. So
Oh
for
my
those
gosh!
people that are,
Did you
yeah.
see Ken Potter had his own little rant about the mint's Omega cents? Oh my! He's not a fan. He is not a fan of them doing that. But
Well,
anyway.
no, but again, and I've called this a number of times. This is going to be something that we see moving forward. I firmly believe that the U.S. Mint has 1 to 2 sales planned by Stacks in perpetuity moving forward. We saw it with the flowing hair. We saw it with the gold Sacagaweas. We saw with the last cent. We're seeing this pattern, and it's happened in the past, but it's more and more of a pattern. We're seeing a lot more privy-based items. Again, everybody's like, the privies are cool, privies are cool, privies are cool. How many of you know how many different privy marks there are in Canada alone? Some of them significantly lower numbers, right?
Yeah, I used to collect.
We're half a decade behind in that. People are going to go nuts over some of this stuff. Just be careful.
And we've been doing it on our innovation dollars since they began. And how many people know that there's a gear privy on every single innovation dollar that changes with every design? How many people knew that? Like, I mean, unless you are a collector of innovation dollars, you really don't know that.
Right.
Or happen to have heard, somebody talking about it.
Or typing about it with one finger.
Yeah, typing about it with one finger.
Hey, I got a question for you. There's another coin that came out of Denver that's probably the #1 coin to bring people into the hobby. Do you know which one that would be?
The 22 no D.
That's a good one. That wasn't the one that I was thinking of, though.
Don't. Hang on.
So while we're on the 22 no D, a lot of people thought it was minted in Philadelphia, but it wasn't. There were no coins minted in Philadelphia. They were all minted in Denver. But dye-filled grease and that D was obscured, and now it's a valuable item. There are some markers to identify on the no D. There's 2 different types of strikes, weak and a strong. They each have their component. But what is the other one that I'm thinking? We've talked about this a lot.
We've talked about, oh man, I don't have a good memory. So.
Give you a clue, Charles.
Charles? Like Charles Latreille?
No, as in like Chuck Daughtry.
His fake one?
No.
Oh.
He did the best video I think I've ever seen on this particular
coin. The 1982 D small date.
Or the Copper. 1943. Yeah. I was thinking of the 43 copper. And the 1982. Yeah. Those are the 2 coins. They're kind of tied for them. But the 1982 is probably one of the ones that have brought the most people into the hobby.
Yes.
And he has done one of the best videos on that. If you want, I mean, that, in my opinion, that's the definitive video.
Counter stamps are not privy, correct, or not privy marks. Yeah, correct. Privy marks are actually raised on the coin. Counter stamps are not raised on the coin.
Yeah, and counter stamps are not intended designs. It's not part of the design element. And if something's not a part of the design element and it didn't come from the mint, it is therefore damage. So, FYI.
Hello, good morning.
I am actually going to post that link to the copper coins.
And there is, so that law has been misinterpreted. There are at least 6 times where living people have been on US commemoratives. I think the original law was intended for like paper currency, but there are at least 6 times when we have had living people on our commemorative coinage. Coolidge was one, I think. And then there is a female. Anyway,
well, you have Randy.
Calvin Coolidge, yeah. So, and yeah.
You also have the governor of Alabama on the
yes. Yep.
on the commemorative Alabama coin.
Mm-hmm.
There were a number of times. So again, I've talked about this. There's a video on that. Break it out. One
Well,
of the
Isabella
things.
doesn't really count.
One of the things. Again, well, she's the first woman coin, or real woman to be on a coin, but I don't think she was alive
No.
when they minted it.
Randy Teton was the model for Sacagawea. So that
Yeah.
doesn't count. That doesn't count either, Jack Riley. So uh, there's a great video that Matt and Mike did. They did an actual interview with Randy Teton, and it's amazing, and everybody should watch it. There are actually, if you guys didn't know this, there are no photographs of the actual Sacagawea. There are no photographs. So at the time, Glenna Goodacre had to like do some research into like the tribe that she came from and what, like, it was kind of guessing what she would have looked like. Yeah. I what commemorative was he featured on? Azure? I don't know a commemorative that he was featured on.
I don't think it was a commemorative coin. I think it was a um, medal.
Yeah.
There is a medal with Barack Obama. I don't know that there's an
Yeah,
actual coin.
metals are different.
If
Yeah.
there is, it wasn't a US based coin. It might have come from Buzz Aldrin was their presidential medal. Yeah, exactly. And so the initial law, and I was trying to
Yeah.
pull this up, so I apologize for the delay. The initial law was regarding around the paper. Um, there's a whole thing. If you really want to know about it, I laid it out, what needs to happen and why it's there, and the whole legislation. I can put that in chat. One of my moderators can go grab that. Talking about the presidential dollar, it shows a picture of Trump, and then it says, "Is it legal?" I broke the whole thing down. I pulled up the laws, and it's this isn't really open to interpretation because it's very concise about what the intent. Um, and so, from what I understand, it's still in legislation. I don't think it's even been approved yet. So, I'm going to have to do an update on that because I haven't checked the legislation.
So I want to tell you guys that one of my favorite ranters, he's the rant champion, Michael Kittle. Michael Kittle Rare Coins. He also has a gaming channel, Kittle Got Game. He has some of the best rants out there, and he's smart as a whip, and he knows coins. He probably knows more about coins than all of us put together have forgotten. He actually had a rant last night about this very topic. So if you guys want to listen to him talk about how he believes that the US Mint is going to make a Trump coin because they are very bitter about certain things that happened. I'm not going to get into political stuff because this is not my channel and I'm just not going to. But it's very interesting, his perspective on that. And I happen to agree with him. So, yeah, there's that. Because if you notice, and I've talked about this, our quarters for the semi-quincentennial originally, and these were approved designs, approved quarter designs, had things like women's suffrage and abolishing, I don't know. Anyway, women's suffrage was one that I particularly ranted about. That I thought, what in the world does that have to do with anything with the price of tea in China? It has nothing to do with the Declaration of Independence. Nothing. Well, if you notice, that is no longer one of our quarters for this coming semi-quincentennial
Yep.
because things changed.
They got out of hand. Yep.
Yeah. Well, the what some refer to as wokeness or whatever, DEI, that kind of has taken a back seat at the US Mint. So I got to say I'm a bit happy about it because I don't think that although women's suffrage absolutely deserves to have some be commemorated in some way, it has nothing to do with our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and it should not have been included in. But they also did things like the Mayflower has nothing to do with it, and Abraham Lincoln. So they replaced certain things with other certain things.
Yeah, and again, they still to this day, and you and I have talked about this a ton, right? They missed the boat on what the purpose of this was.
They did.
It isn't just about freedom, release of anything. It was purely about the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And so our Constitution, our Declaration, that's the anniversary that we're celebrating. And so people need to realize it's like, yes, all of those things are part of freedom and they're important. They're important to our nation. They're important to the establishment framework of who we are as a people. We have to remember our history, but that's not what this is celebrating. That's not what the semi-quincentennial was. And it was dropped a little bit. They kind of dropped the ball on that and went, the Mint went on a little rampage, a privately held rampage.
They did. So like he said last night, like Michael Kittle said last night, ultimately at the end of the day, the Mint is going to do what the Mint wants to do. They just are. I mean, all of these superhero things and all, really, they're just going to do what they want to do because who's going to stop them? I am kind of hoping that because we now have somebody who has been in the coin business and has been involved in coins probably his entire life is now our mint director. And I think really, really cares about the hobby and wants to do right by it. I am hoping that that he that he corrects things. I really am. I find it very interesting that if you go look at the price of the first two releases from the Mint this year, the two ASEs. Now this may just be that they're waiting to change the price on it. I don't know. But even though silver has gone bananas, they still haven't changed. They're still $95 as of yesterday.
I've been surprised they haven't adjusted that.
Yeah. So is that something he's like, is he going to take into account the collectors like that were not millionaires and maybe $100 that nothing changes due to the new.
Noodle! What's up, brother?
I know, Mike, I know that and I like Ventress too, and I know that there's dealers in particular and stuff that I don't know Paul Hollis. I don't know anything about his history. I know that there are people that have a bad taste in their mouth for him on the dealer side. I have heard bad things from the dealer perspective about him. But I am holding out hope that he is going to do things to promote the hobby.
Amy, a
I'm
member for
really,
11 months. Thank you so much, Amy.
really I would prefer a dime with the next cat bus Alberson. Well, I think that the this is a 1 year thing, Aunt. So don't hold your breath that we're going to get any new designs after this year on our circulating coinage.
I wish they
I think,
would do something.
yeah, I think our circulating coinage is going to go back to what it was before. No coin experience. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Now,
Mike,
I will give.
her. I
I
know
do have
that.
to give some credit to her when there are some things that happened at the Mint that she absolutely changed. There
Fix
was
the
a comment
website.
below that the U.S. Mint did what they were told to. To some degree, yes, but there are some unilateral choices that she was able to make. She made that very clear. Um, and again, when you look at uh, the CCAC, when you look at the Mint, when you look at some of those things,
Mhm.
there is a political aura in that subset that when the president changed and some of the policies changed, the conversations at the CCAC fundamentally changed. And so, yes, it's partially driven by that. Absolutely. But there
Yes,
were some decisions Mint based that she made the decision on. Now, whether she is a Mint director or whatnot, I have no problem with her as a person. She definitely did something. I think that some of that was tied to the administration. So I agree with a number of things that are being said here. I don't know what we can expect from the new Mint director. I've had Mike, you and I have talked about that before.
yeah.
I know where you stand on that. Um, I didn't have a problem with some of the choices that they made, um, but I've had problems with some of the other ones. I think that just me, just me, nobody else. This is just a frosty hypothesis. And that is, I don't think that, how do I say this?
That was one of my biggest problems with it, with her, Azure. It really was.
Yeah, I think
I
one of the biggest problems that I have, though, is that they asked the general population what they wanted. They got a sounding result, but they went with what they were doing anyway.
didn't listen.
They dropped the top 7 or 8 items. Now they have made some of those designs, but again, there's what's really new. The $half horrific. I
No,
can't stand the $half.
I loved the women's quarter series. I loved it. It didn't have anything to do with keeping people quiet. I loved that series. I think they could have done more with it. But
The problem with the women's quarters it was that it came on the heel of a long series. It's just like they took a good thing and should have left it alone. Um, but they did the quarters, the states, and then they did the parks, and then they did the woman series, and then it
well,
just keeps going, right?
it's
Um,
going to
eh,
keep going too. And now we're going to have the $half. The $half, they're doing the same thing with.
yeah, Mike, that's exactly right. She did fix the US Mint website, and that's probably one of
Absolutely.
the greatest things that she did.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that new waiting room is way, 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 way
I
better.
really
A
like
whole
that.
new
I like the
experience.
subscription thing. I like the waiting room.
Yeah. And I'm not
Yeah,
talking all smack on her. I have some issues with the way that
she was
things were done,
very,
but
very good with the public. I mean, people loved her that met her. She, she was accessible. I liked that about her. There were lots of things I liked about her. I
she
just
was
think
good
that
with handicapped kids. We know this because she and Mike got along.
that's right. That's absolutely right.
I miss
She
you, brother. Man, you need to come up and I
had
think
an
he just
affinity
left.
for the disadvantaged.
You need to come up and visit with us. We miss you. We hope you're doing well, bud.
I
But
know, I do
yeah,
miss okay.
so again, I didn't have anything against Ventress as a person. There were some policy things that happened, but again, It doesn't matter who's in that office. You're never going to agree 100% with the decisions and the choices that they made. But I did learn some stuff from the conversation that Mike and Matt had with her about some of the choices she's able to make and some of the choices she was not able to make. And I learned a little bit about that general process. She explained that very, very well, and it helped me to go back through and go, I need to look at this a little bit different because I don't think I fully understand. Kind of like what happened last Sunday with my realization that I need to learn a lot more about ASE because I had the opportunity probably to buy something that was really cool for cheap and I didn't know what it was. By the way, did I tell you that I went back after you guys had told me about that ASC and it was already sold?
Which one?
Remember the one with the 2007, 2008? You guys were telling me that's probably a really good variety.
Oh, they come up very rarely. They're near impossible to cherry pick because everybody's looking for them. They're only on the burnished. You have to make sure that you are looking on the burnished.
Yeah.
Because they're only on the burnished. But yeah, most of them are already graded that you find. They really are nearly impossible to cherry pick. But when you do, it's a good one. And the semi-quincentennial. What? I missed something. Misunderstands. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Explain yourself, Willis. Proof sets. Proof sets are going to be interesting. Proof and mint sets this next year are going to be interesting because I'm really curious to see what they're going to have as far as the cent. And I'm really curious to find out if they're going to be selling the 2026 cents in rolls or how they're going to be doing that. Paulo Revere, what? What are you guys talking about? What did I miss? Frostbyte. I'm missing something.
Nope, I don't think you are.
Live mint, the out of the live mints, live presentation of design, but the ones they pick. Oh yeah, the CCAC meetings, or is it CCAC? Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Mike, he's just yanking my chain now.
What's the best thing to do?
He's messing with me. It's okay. I missed you, Mike.
So how do you think they're going to release the 2026 cents? Do you think they're going to do it in rolls? I think they'll do it in some rolls.
I'm not sure about that, but they're definitely going to be doing them in sets. My biggest question is, will there be only a Denver cent? Or will there be a Philly and Denver cent, like in the uncirculated set? Yeah, that's my only question.
Oh, he was saying this mint is celebrating our story, not the actual
Ranch,
day.
you know that, and you are just trying to stir the pot.
What is it?
You know the answer to that. And if you really wanted to know, it's been a year, you could have emailed me. Please, can we just skip that and not talk about it? Ugh. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So Mike was saying the mint celebrating the story, not the actual day the declaration was signed. That's not what the semi-quincentennial is for. That's the argument.
Not the actual day that the declaration was signed. The mint is celebrating our story. Yeah.
Well, it's again, it's the entire thing about how we got to the 250 years. I understand that. However, when you look at
Don't believe what you hear, Invisible River Ranch. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, let's steer clear of the conversation, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. The semi-quincentennial is one of those things where, again, bicentennial, what do they celebrate? Right? Um,
Yeah.
Centennial, again, you look at what they were celebrating. We lost it at the 250th. We brought in a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with it. And again, Paula and I have talked about this quite a bit. And
I do too.
what is it? What is it? What is it that they're selling? I just don't. I don't. Is it
But you
politics
know,
or is it actually the semi-quincentennial?
there's plenty of stuff that has to do with the Declaration of Independence that we should be commemorating instead of stuff that has nothing to do, that we should commemorate in some way at some time. But I think that the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence should be related to the Declaration of Independence.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, it became, all they did is they changed it to become reflecting the nation's history instead of this. And it's, again, there a lot of people are going to agree and we're going to disagree on this. It's okay, right? We can have the discussion. That's what matters.
And
Um,
there's things in our history that can be offensive to people and is offensive to people. And that's unfortunate in my mind, because I think that anything in our history shouldn't, like, we should learn about everything. We shouldn't be offended by stuff that happened that's part of our history.
I
But
agree.
I they are being so cautious, and so they just don't want they want to include everybody and not offend anybody. And I'm not sure that you can do those two things at the same time anymore.
Invisible, 100-year-old zinc pennies. No, I'm not thinking so. I don't know that they'll be. I mean, you're going to have to do some serious protection to have these things around. I've seen 2024s that are just totally junk because, again, any kind of weathering, any kind of heavy moisture, those things just turn into dust. So you're going to have to do some really good care if you want, or the big fingerprint on them. Yeah, like the last one. That was brilliant. What's up, vote for Pedro? How you doing, bud?
It's a piece of paper. What it started is important. Then why celebrate it now? Then why do anything? Why call it the semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary? We could have done it next year. We could celebrate all of these same things, right? All of the same things that they're including in 2026. We could do it any year.
You know what I would like to have seen? And again, I understand what you're saying. I fully agree that it's a remembrance of our history.
The
But they could have
Declaration.
done the release of the items that pertain directly to signing. And then out the release, they could have added additional items, talk about the various things that have happened since that. But the fact that we need to honor that, the signing, there's a lot of stuff. Let's look at the pilgrims. Okay. Sue earlier said that, she didn't really like the pilgrims. I understand why the pilgrims and the Mayflowers.
And we have a Mayflower quarter coming out
Right.
next year.
Well, because of the Mayflower Compact. That's the first
Yeah.
official governing body document that was created in the New World. And so that was the predecessor, that was the prelim to what we would take. Of course, the Articles of Confederation and some of the other First and Second Continental Congress. There were lots of pieces that came from that adaptation, but that very first one is that Mayflower Compact. That's the one where people said, if we're going to be better than where we came from, we have to set a rules that self-govern ourselves as a community. We have to put our laws down. And because we came here for religious freedom or whatever, it's that. That's the predecessor to it. That could have been released a little bit later on, but I still think there needs to be specifically about the semi-quincentennial itself. So yeah, again, you're right. It's celebrating our story. And I can understand why they're there. It's not a matter of I don't get why they're there, but this is the signing, right? This is what it's supposed to be. Anyway, what they made it about, you're never going to get a full consensus.
Nah.
And it isn't really important
There's
to even try.
just too many there's too many people that they want to make happy and that they want, I mean, yeah, just it is what it is. So, unfortunately, we the collectors who really should have more say in all of this have no say in any of this. And that's unfortunate. That is one change I would love to see the US Mint make is they have our information, all of us who buy from them. If they just send out more surveys than they do more surveys. Do ask your customer base for opinions and then listen to them. That's what I would like to see. One change in the US Mint is that they take us into account because they have completely forgotten about us. I really do believe that. They've forgotten about us.
Well, and again,
Robert, thanks. I am doing well. Thank you. I hope you had a good Christmas.
to reiterate,
Thanks, Pedro. It's good to be back. Missed you
the
guys.
Mint's point is not to create items for the collector. That's not their job. But it would be nice to have the engagement of people who are the collectors and what might stem a greater interest in those elements. Sometimes it makes me wonder if they don't do this on purpose. Because if they create a bunch of stuff that not everybody's really interested in, they won't.
Yeah.
So again, can't pretend to know the reasons behind all of these items. And I see where Mike's talking about as far as it being history that
Oh,
we're
I get what
celebrating
you're
instead of the
saying.
semi-quincentennial. But again, it is the semi-quincentennial.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I see what he's saying too. I don't agree with it, but I totally understand why he's saying what he's saying, why he feels that way, and
Well,
that's
this is the
okay.
good thing about being friends. We can agree to disagree, but he's okay with that.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, when they do a dual dated coin, it should, I don't know. Anyway, everybody's going to have their own opinions, and I'm actually reserving a lot of my opinion because I don't know what's going to happen this next year. I know certain things. I know about the circulating coinage and stuff like that, but there's a lot of products and a lot of things that the US Mint tends to pop things into their website unexpectedly or surprise us with things. And so I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know how the new Mint director is going to do. I don't know what changes, if any changes, are going to be implemented. So I'm reserving my opinion this time on a lot of stuff because I don't know, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Oh, I know. No, I know. I'm not ignoring that, Mike. I'm just saying my opinion on all of that is that there are things that I don't believe should be included that are being included. I am glad that they took out the women's suffrage thing. But whatever. I just think there's, just like you always said about the women's quarters, and many people have said about the women's quarters, you always said it should have gone on longer. It should have been a longer program. I always thought there were many, many women that deserved to be featured on those coins that weren't. I think they missed the boat on that. I think that they're missing the boat on certain things that they could commemorate in 2026 that are not being commemorated. So, yeah,
Are there any coins you're going to absolutely pick up?
I agree with him. Me?
Yep.
I am going to pick up proof set and mint set, uncirculated set. Other than that, I don't know of a single one that I'm going to for sure pick up. What I'm looking forward to is the circulating coins, and that's not going to cost me. That's just going to cost me face value. That's what I'm going to pick up as many dimes as I can. That's what I'm going to pick up, because that dime design, dang. Let me tell you, I'm happy about that. Playing the bicentennial themes that were on. Well, I liked the bicentennial themes. Washington crossing the Delaware and the Liberty Bell. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really even thought about it, Mike. Even though I was around.
So,
Oh, Drummer Boy, not Washington crossing the Delaware was the. Never mind. Yeah, the Drummer Boy.
the colonial drummer, right? We have that one. And then
Yeah. I don't know.
when
I
you're
never
looking
really
at
thought about it.
Independence Hall, you're talking about the Liberty Bell. These are all things associated with Philadelphia. This is where the document. It
Yeah.
was the nation's capital during the time, for a short time, and then to New York for a period of time before it ended up in D.C. So again, you're talking about the location, the position where commemorating that particular event. You look at the illustration on the back of the $2 bill. What was that? It was the signing of the Declaration. It was the actual event there in Philadelphia. So it was actually tied to the event. The only one that really wasn't is the
Moon.
colonial drummer. Oh, on the back of the Ike dollar.
No.
So you're right. You're right. That's true. That's you have the 1960 space program moving into the next phase of things. You're right. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I'm tracking what you're saying.
Mm.
So I get what you're saying.
But that was on all of the Ikes, though, not the big moon, but I think that was just kind of keeping, wasn't that just kind of keeping with the theme of the Ike?
Yeah, because the Ike had already done it, but they did change the reverse, right?
Well, I know, but they had the Liberty Bell, but I think they just kept the moon just because I don't think that had anything. I think they just kept it because that was just, I don't know, consistent theme with the Ike dollar.
Yeah, no, but I understand what Mike is saying. And again, it's still
Yeah,
general theme.
no, the Liberty Bell. But all of the Ikes had the moon.
Yeah, it was just the Liberty Bell that was, well, I mean, the whole design was different, but yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I get you. I'm tracking what you're saying. as a sign of
Anyway, it's
regress.
going to be exciting. I'm excited to find my first dime. I am excited. I would love to be at my bank and see my tellers. See, what's going to be fun is watching people who think that your dime is counterfeit, who aren't going to want to take your dime because they don't think it's a real dime. That's what's going to be fun.
Or they think it's a foreign coin.
Yeah. Or they think, yeah, they don't think it's a real US coin, because I know the gals at my bank don't. There may be one that knows about the design change, but I seriously doubt any of them know about the design changes on the coins. I mean, the quarter is, yeah, I mean, I just think it's going to be funny to see them, like, to see people just losing their minds. I need a manager.
Well, hey, I had the police called on me years ago for trying to pass a $2 bill off as authentic.
People still look at $2 bills. They look at Eisenhower's, $5. I mean, yeah, people still get very, very confused at certain things, but gold plate then, maybe. But I am really excited about that. I was very excited about. I've been talking about the semi-quincentennial for a long time. If you guys ever watch the live coin Q&A, you know I've been talking about the circulating coin design changes. I was very upset when I found out that all they were doing for the cent and the nickel were the dual dated things. I'm still upset with the nickel that all it is a dual dated. I hate the nickel. They could have really done me a solid and changed that design. But they decided not to. So that is an unfortunate turn of events. But I love that dime. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like in hand. Aren't you?
I like the dime. There was one thing about the dime that I was a little bit surprised with, and that was the placement of Liberty. I think that if they would have called that, but over and all, I like the dimes. I like the again, I like the Mayflower Compact. That's it has the ship on it. That's one of my favorite ones.
I know you do. I knew you would like that one.
But there's the two that I probably will buy. Obviously, I'm going to buy that one, but I'm going to buy the standing. If I can do it, I'm going to buy the gold.
You know, I would love to be able to own one of the gold coins with the silver metal that's accompanying it. Now, I don't like the mercury dime. I don't like the metal that's accompanying that one.
Oh,
But
the bathtub lady.
yeah, I don't like it at all. It really does look like she's trying to get out of the bathtub.
Yeah,
But,
it's horrible.
yeah. Um,
Here,
yeah. And you know what's funny is I really like that the $50. And I've heard so many people say that they don't like the way the ray comes out from her nose, from the Statue of Liberty's nose. But I don't see it like that. I think it's a really, really good depiction of the Statue of Liberty. But I really like that, the $50. I probably will try to pick up a couple rolls of those. Yeah, silver's out of hand, right, you guys?
57 times face, unreal.
I really, really, really want to just dump all my silver. I do. I'm sitting on money that I really could use right now. My problem is I don't know who to sell it to. And are people even paying like close to What is it? $75 today an ounce?
Yeah, 75 and some change.
Are dealers really, are they paying even close to that?
Most places that I've heard of are 6 or 7 back in spot.
That's, well, even that. Holy moly. I mean, I'm sitting on money that I could really use. And the things that, so all of my silver pours that I love so much, I look at now and think they are, they have finally exceeded what I paid for them in silver value. And as much as I would hate to get rid of them, how do I afford, can I afford not to at this price? Am I alone in this? Like am I the only one that is like, cuz I'm not a stacker, but even some of my Visa Morgans are worth 61.35. Right. But I mean, I've got like the modern Visa Morgan dollars and the reverse proofs and things like that, that I'm like, all my silver quarter sets and stuff. I'm like, I don't know that I can afford not to get rid of those things. My collection is going to dwindle down to a fraction of what it was, but 79.39. 79, it's at almost at $80. Dealers are paying 5 to 10 back. So they're still paying, if it's at 79.39, they're still paying $70 an ounce.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yep, sure enough, there it is.
Everything
I
you
have been
bought from,
watching silver. I've been watching another metal. I've been
yeah,
watching this one.
platinum. I bet you. Didn't
Yeah,
you?
this is
You bought a bunch, didn't you?
3 ounces.
Before, yeah.
I bought it at
That's smart.
1750 and 1850.
Yeah,
Bought
that
it
was
at
smart.
1850, then it dropped, and I picked it up when it dropped lower. And now it's
I'm thinking about dumping as my 40% and buying everything you bought. Yeah, I just
so Mike says that Harlan's 6 under spot right now.
yeah,
That's I
I
think
know.
that's pretty standard.
What did Mike say?
They're paying 6 under spot.
600 spot. So, and that's another thing. Like, if say I was to, like, I don't think that the people that I bought my silver pours from would blame me one bit for. I mean, even though they are art pieces, there's a couple that I would never sell, no matter what. But who would I sell those to? Like, who would be the best place for me to sell those to? Because I know that they would people would want to test them to make sure the purity. But where would be the most practical and where I would get the most bang for my buck?
I just shop around at local coin shops, or
I only have one.
you have enough people in the community, you could reach out to folks in the community and
The higher the
talk
price
with
goes,
them.
the bigger the spread. Yeah. Well, I heard
And we have plenty of
something.
friends that we could do sales with.
Yeah. 2,500 platinum. Yeah, that is crazy. Platinum's just going nuts. I'm waiting for copper. I'm waiting for copper to I have a lot of copper. I buy just about monthly for like the last probably 6, 7 years. I've bought a roll of copper rounds because I love them. But pure metals, local LCS, the buyback person is really about the same, and so was 30. LCS paid about $2 less. Well, that's good to know. They
So
don't
copper,
like
$5.50.
because they don't trust the quality. Well, if they have XRF or whatever, Invisible River Ranch, they can test pores. They can test them. Refiners do it.
You'd want a sigma for those, but yeah.
A sigma
Over XRF machine for something heavy like a
for
pour?
a
Absolutely.
core?
XRF
I
machines
don't.
only do surface metal. Sigma actually checks through, especially if you have the adapters.
Okay, I thought that it was opposite. He is a YouTuber. He knows what he is doing. Who?
I'm not sure.
I don't know who he's talking. Well, lots of people have sigmas, and I think that like the regular sigma is not as good as like, isn't there like a sigma pro? Because there is a sigma that doesn't scan all the way through. One of the sigmas, the sigma pro scans all the way through, I think. But does it do pores? My LCS offered spot for pores. I said even silver dragon pores. He said who? Oh, most coin shops will only pay spot for pores
They don't know
because
who
they
people
send
like
them
Silver Dragons is.
to
Yeah.
the refiners. Yeah, they melt them. I know there's people on here that I don't know though at the price of silver right now that I'd probably get the same because my pores that like the silver is probably more now than what I paid for the actual artwork.
Well, and
Reddit.
here's the thing about some, you and I have
Hmm.
talked about our pores. We've pulled some out. I've got some amazing ones that are. There are pores that, again, you're not paying for the silver. You're paying for the effort of the
Yeah,
together and built it, sanded it, and took time, whatever.
yeah.
And there's a lot of pieces that I would never get rid of because made by friends of mine. I have them for very specific.
Those are the ones I wouldn't. The ones that were gifted, that were gifts to me, I would never get rid of.
Yeah, so I'm going to monitor those and I maintain those and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But there are other pieces that I bought because I liked at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm like, no. So I traded in some of my stuff and flipped it just because I wanted to put some more into platinum.
But yeah, that was smart. Well,
Because again, it's gone up a ton since then.
so I
Cores
watched
aren't for
somebody that
stacking. That's a
said,
fact, Pedro.
what you are supposed to be doing is watching the gold to silver ratio. When it gets down to like 36%, that's when you flip your silver into gold.
If you're going to go
Some
that
say
direction, yes.
50%. I've heard some say
Well,
50%,
it's
but
not. It's yeah. It's not a percentage. It's a ratio. But
ratio.
yeah, it means that
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a
36
piece you
to
have
1 or
80
50
of
to 1.
something. Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
not a percent ratio.
but you've just got to look at the value. The value is one of those things, and I look at the GSR, but I have kind of
Yeah.
pulled away from focusing on it. Um, if it gets close enough, then that's fine. When I bought platinum, it had nothing to do with the rates. It had everything to do with the value that platinum was showing at the time. And I listened to a couple of people way smarter than me, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "This is the place to be." And I jumped into it, listening and trusting them, and it paid off dividends. So
Yeah. $57.21 gold to silver ratio. Yeah. Yeah. So that's gone way down just from a couple nights ago. I think it was at 63 or something. The ratio. Oh, that was my stomach, you guys. It sounded like a fart.
didn't hear it
Oh
until
my
you
god.
said it, but hey.
Oh my gosh. I'll go back and listen to that. That was crazy. That literally was my stomach.
So this is actually a very telling All right, this is the gold to silver ratio.
Merry Christmas, Southern Coin Hunter.
Look at this. That's ridiculous.
What am I
So if you're
looking
going to
at?
be flipping your metals, this is the time to do it. Oh, what is happening with my chart? Here, let me do this.
Oh, I'm
Do.
doing things on
Whoops, hold
StreamYard.
on. Why in the world? There we go. No, that's not what it.
This one,
What is
platinum.
happening here?
I have a 1
There it
gram
is.
platinum bar. That's all I have.
This is what I was wanting to show you. Look at the gold to silver ratio has just. We're at a
Yeah,
place right now. It's actually a really good time to be swapping out.
interesting.
It's a good time. And so I took some, and this would be. Let me come back up here. Go to.
It was Invisible Ranch. It was yeah, people kind of poo-pooed platinum. Those platinum those Liberty whatever platinum Liberty coins are crazy expensive now.
Yep. Fun stuff.
Yep.
Well, hey, folks, it is 10 o'clock my time.
Anybody wants to buy silver pours, hit me up.
I have a guest at the house. I can already hear them downstairs, so I'm going to go bail and hang out with them tomorrow. Paula, hopefully you'll come back up. We have Jack Young who's going to come up. He's going to talk about a couple different coins, again, based off of Denver. We're going to be digging into them. I don't know how to pull up. Let's do.
Okay, bye. Thanks for putting up with me, guys. Appreciate it. My little rant.
Platinum to silver.
You too, Sue.
It's not coming up. I'll have to figure out how to do that as you're. I'll pull that up. I'll post the ratio that, because here's the silver gold ratio. I'll do the silver to platinum ratio. I picked it up somewhere around here, and it's come down. It's technically even a better buy to do.
I missed
silver gold changes now, but we'll see. Again, what I did was wealth consolidation, so I consider you guys should probably think about that too.
Peace and love, Mike. I missed your face. I can't wait till you and Matt come back on. I know it'll be soon. So,
and there are a number of people in the community who got an email from me on Christmas. Again, that offer always stands. So let me know if you guys are ever interested. You don't ever have to ask permission. Just pop up on and say hi. So,
okay, bye, everybody.
All right, folks. Hey, thank you so much, Paul. It's great visiting with you and hanging out with you today. Folks, take care of yourselves. Again, be here tomorrow. We're going to talk about the coins. We're going to break some of that stuff down. Share this stuff out. I just passed 6,800 subscribers, 200 more to get to 7K. Let's see what we can do. All right, folks.